We're losing!
Teamwork, guys, more teamwork.
They're burying us alive!
Well, shit.
Jeez Louise.
Honey, don't you want to beat those bastards? In my book, we're gonna be winners.
What's the matter? You got nothing left inside, huh? Cause you're training like a damn bum, you know that?
Screw them.
What are you doing? What are people doing?
Is this early access too?
Hey, let me tell you something, bro.
Get out there now and do the best you can.
Welcome, everybody, to the inaugural episode of Bad Fodder Figures. This is Captain Mike M. As you've heard by now on the last episode of the 40cast, episode 350, we have retired that show and are moving over here to Bad Fodder Figures. Kick back and relax. And let's welcome in my co-host, Devious Mr. Matt.
Yeah, a short move that was. A quick retirement on my part from podcasting, and as I've said on the 40cast, my reasons why that was going on there and why I'm moving on to something else here. But the moving trucks came, they took all my gear and my stuff, and they sent it to Mike's house, and along with this stuff he had from Gamers in Beta, we're going to have one hell of a show, I think, technology-wise.
Yes, sir, I agree. You know, as we mentioned before, Bad Fodder Figures is a collaboration between myself and Matt, and when time allows, Glovebox Eric will be joining us, and the same can be said for Jeremy, formerly of Dad's Getting Grounded, Runer2 on the Twitters. When his busy life allows him, he will be partaking in the podcast and the streaming as well.
Yes, the streaming.
So for people who aren't aware of Bad Fodder Figures, Matt, myself, and Jeremy have done some streaming on occasion under that moniker. And, you know, with the retirement of Gamers in Beta, I've still had a strong desire to host a show. And that's what I'm going to do here with Bad Fodder Figures. Now, some feedback that I could expect from the listeners out there is, well, this is Gamers in Beta 2.0. And while that might be a valid form of feedback, I think as this show evolves over time, we're going to have our own identity, our own footprint out there in the podcast world. But in the short term, like anybody else in any other field, we're going to fall back on what we know. And what we know here and what I know is to talk about gaming stuff, news, experiences, and things of that nature. And of course, with my buddy Matt here, we're also going to talk whatever else we like to talk about. And as the show evolves, I'm sure Matt will come up with things he wants to discuss, whether it's a segment idea or something that we carry forth through other episodes. That's what we're going to do. But for the short term, these are baby steps. We want to get a show out there, a quality show, talk about gaming-related stuff. Other things could be coming up as well. I think you all will enjoy the show. Would you not agree, Matt?
I agree a lot with that. I think the show's going to grow over time here. We're going to kind of get into our groove, what we want to talk about, a good little flow here, and it's going to be a nice little show here. And same thing that you said about Gamers in Beta 2.0. This is not 40cast again. This is something totally different and new. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I mean, obviously Mike knows I'm not as much into all the different games as he and Jeremy are. I'm sticking more to my baseball and the ones I buy here and there. So it'll be a little bit less of that. I'm going to try and dive more into more of the free demos and little smaller, newer games out there, and kind of give a man on the street type of review of some of them games.
And you'll be our 2DS expert, right?
I'll be the 2DS expert.
So before we jump into gaming stuff, I guess let's get some personal stuff. Should I ask you what you're drinking? Oh, no, that's a different show. But it was, let's give Matt a round of applause, everybody that's listening. It was your 21st wedding anniversary this week. Is that correct?
Yeah,
21
Thursday.
years of bliss.
21 years of bliss. The time flies when you're having fun is what I hear. And so I don't know what's going on here, but 21 years.
You're still waiting for the fun?
I'm still waiting for the fun. I'm yeah. I had fun at least twice because I got 2 kids. So
there you go. So nothing eventful happened. You went out and had some quiet time with the missus. Went out to dinner.
Yeah, we went to dinner. We went to just Outback Steakhouse and got some dinner there, and we ended up getting free dessert from them because we mentioned to the guy, it was our anniversary and stuff like that. So they gave us a free dessert to take home with us. So that was very nice. It was a very nice evening. Nice. The kids stayed home. Went down to the casino for a little while and lost a little money. And then went to go eat and had a great time and came home and went to bed.
No, none of that naughty stuff though. Huh?
No, of course not. No, not
on a school night.
Not on a school night. No.
Oh boy. Well, congratulations again, Matt. 21 years. That is quite the achievement. I think I am 7 years off the pace. So
you'll get there
see
one day.
One day.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water.
Come hell or high water. Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's segue over to what we've been playing. I know certainly for me, it's been Fortnite, and more Fortnite.
Absolutely.
Really haven't sprinkled too much other stuff in the mix. A little Destiny here and there. I finished the final subclass mission, so I have all 3 subclasses unlocked. So now I'm sort of like I'm playing as a Titan character, so now I have this sort of Thor-like hammer that I can throw at people when I get fully supercharged. So that's very exciting. Still a game I think you should pick up, Matt, at some point. We could have some fun in the streams with that.
If it's not too late, I'm thinking possibly Black Friday special on that one there, I'm thinking. If it's not too late for you. Otherwise, I have to try and make arrangements before then to pick that up.
2-for-1 special at Target.
Something
Go to
like
your
that,
local,
yeah. One of your deals like that, yeah.
Go to your Target.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I've been cranking away a little bit on Wolfenstein New Order, so I'm ready for when Colossus comes out. I went last night. Before I went to bed, I went to the site. Now, you dirty people out there will be thinking differently, but the name of the site, I think it's called How Long to Beat. Right?
Yeah.
And this was a strictly for game research only. You sickos out there. And so I was looking, and I think Wolfenstein is like around 12 hours. So I should be able to knock this out fairly soon. I think I'm about 4 or 5 hours in.
Wow.
So I really need to get head down on that so I can finish it. The only other thing I played this week, we'll talk about Fortnite in a bit when we share more of our impressions, but I was playing Ghost Recon Wildlands. They came out with their new PvP mode called Ghost War. It's an interesting concept. Like I said, it's 4v4, but it's not like deathmatch. The way you win is you have to be sort of the last team standing. So it could be a 1v4 situation, and if they knock you out, then they win. But if you are the lone guy and you knock all them out, then you win. So, and you can always revive anybody during this. So it could go from 1v4 back to 4v4 very quickly.
Oh, wow.
So it depends on the skill of how long these matches last. They could go as short as a minute or as long as, 10, 15 minutes. I think eventually there is a draw. There is a time limit where it will come up and say no one won and the round ends, and then you start over into another round. It's a best 2 out of 3 as well.
Now, this sounds very interesting to try and figure out here. Now, you bought Ghost Recon Wildlands, right?
I bought that for the PS4 a while ago, yes.
Yeah, I'm downloading the open, the free game. So I'm getting that taken care of. And I'm going to maybe it's on sale for like $30, so that might not be a bad price to pick that up at.
Yeah, we'll have to try that out maybe later today, or I'm not sure how long the free stuff lasts. Mm-hmm. But let's get over to Fortnite here. This is a game, now that it has stats built into it, I'm just guesstimating, but I'm closing in on probably 40 to 50 hours worth of playtime so far in just a battle royale. And some days it feels like you're smashing your head against a wall and you're not making any progress at all. And it's just constantly rinse, repeat, die, boot up another match, go in. And then some nights like last night where I feel like I was getting more kills than usual and we were lasting a little bit longer. So it's a game that will give you different experiences and your mileage will vary depending on, I guess, the luck of the draw, who you're playing against, and how skillful you feel that day.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
How are you feeling with the game so far?
I'm liking it. I like it more than PUBG just for the fact that I can see other players easily in Fortnite, and I seem to get kills better and quicker in Fortnite. And like you said, it's all about the luck of the draw there, seems like, in Fortnite, to where you land in, and I guess the map seems a little bit smaller than PUBG. So you're always not that far away from the circle that you have to be in. So you kind of get luck out there, and a lot of times you get lucky and you land right in the middle of the circle, so there's not much moving around you have to do. But I'm digging it. I really enjoy it. And I've said it before, I really like the PvE stuff, the single player stuff is a lot of fun also. I've been playing a lot of that and ranking my guys up in that, and you can craft weapons and you gather stuff up to make new weapons and that, and you get recipes for weapons. So it's really cool how they did the PvE. I think the PvE is not getting as much love as what it should. Everyone's focusing on the Battle Royale part, and I think the rest of it is it's a fantastic game. I liked it so much I bought it on PC, and I was surprised to find out that when I linked my PSN account that it gave me the full game on my PS4 also. I mean, that was freaking a bonus right there, and all my stats transferred back and forth between the two. So my progress in the PC transferred over to the PS4, and whatever I do in the PS4 transfers over to the PC. It's really sweet how that worked out and how that happened.
And I don't think they've given enough news on that.
I don't think so either.
I don't think that's been widely publicized by any stretch. I don't think people are aware of that, and it seems like it all syncs via the cloud system for Epic. So, like you said, you can go to one system to the other, and your stuff is just there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so.
It's nice, and it was very seamless. It was really seamless, and but just imagine my surprise how cheap I am to find out that I didn't have to buy it again on the PS4. That it was already there, and everything progressed over to there also. I was like, oh, this is freaking awesome, very good. So. Yeah. But yeah, the PvE definitely needs, I think, more people playing it. Also, it's a great little game. Also,
I've only played a little bit. I think I am. Maybe you can tell me. I have put some time into the tutorial, and I'm just finished. You're in some sort of I guess fort, right? I guess, yeah. So you're in some sort of fort, and you had like the big like wave of guys coming at you, and you had to put all the floorboards down with the nails in them, and then there's like one big monster comes out.
Yep.
And I think that's the end of the tutorial, because I think I could go to multiple different places there at the end.
I think after that it opens up a little more. I think there's a little bit more of a tutorial after that where it puts you in a town, kind of shows you around how to go around town and stuff like that. But yeah, that's that area there where you're at. That's like your home base. Okay, so you always kind of go back there and you can do stuff there. And then from there you can move around the map in different areas. And I guess you could call them different missions or whatever, different storyline missions that where you go through and you got to protect something. I mean, it is a tower defense horde type of game where it gives you time between the rounds to build up your defenses, to repair defenses, to add traps and stuff like that, to go gather materials and that. And then when you're ready, there is always, okay, press the button when you're ready, to start the engine or whatever. And then that starts the next wave of, what they call them husk, to come at you. And so hopefully you get your defenses up good enough and your traps up good enough where you could defend that wave of husk coming. And also there's a thing there that you unlock to where it can tell you the main direction where the husk are coming from. I mean, it'll be coming from all directions, but there's always one area, like northwest, east, south, where more of them are going to come from. So it kind of hints to that. So to put more defenses, build up more in that direction or something like that. So.
Now, how varied do the enemies get? Do Do you feel like you're always seeing new ones, or is it just rinse repeat after a while?
No, I've been seeing new ones. Like there's ones now I see that like throw stuff at you. You got these big fat dudes that come. There's some that got like a shield that floats over them. You got to shoot the shield before you shoot them. So I've been seeing a kind of a variety of husk coming at you. And like I said, the enemies, each wave, of course, brings more in a different variety of enemies at you. So kind of keep you on your toes type of thing.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Fortnite here as far as news items before we segue into some other stuff. First, they are getting into some litigation. All right. They are suing two individuals, they meaning Epic Games, the developer of Fortnite, are suing two individuals over Fortnite cheats. So if you've played the PC version of this, the Battle Royale, people are using aim bots, aim assist. Things didn't feel like they were quite on the level as maybe they are on the PS4. So right now, like I said, Epic has filed suit against two individuals for making and using software that allows players to cheat. A pair of suits filed in North Carolina, which is the home of Epic Games, named Brandon Broom and Charles Vasper as the defendants. Both are said to be associated with the same subscription-based cheating service, addictedcheats.net. These lawsuits are unique because the cheating service itself isn't the subject of the civil litigation. Instead, Broom and Vasper are being sued personally. Each instance of copyright infringement carries a penalty up to $150,000.
Wow.
So we'll see where that goes. Then the lawsuit, Epic says Vasper himself is a cheater and through building the software sold through addictedcheats.net enabled others to cheat as well. He has been banned from playing Fortnite at least 9 times, according to documents.
Wow.
Documents also called out Broom for modifying software so that it is specifically designed to circumvent Epic's technological measures and instructed subscribers to the cheat provider website to do the same. We'll see where that goes. I know Blizzard has been successful in the past pursuing these, copyright infringement.
Mm-hmm.
One recent case against Bossland GmbH, the German creator of bots known as Honor Buddy, Hearth Buddy, and others, resulted in over 43,000 instances of copyright infringement, which totaled $8.6 million in damages.
And people, you hear these numbers and that, and people still think video games as just games and kid stuff and that, but you see numbers like this, and it's like, wow, this is some real shit going on.
Yep. And lastly, Epic says, when cheaters use aimbots or other cheat techniques to gain an unfair advantage, they ruin games for people who are playing fairly.
Yeah,
we take cheating seriously and will pursue all available options to make sure our games are fun, fair, and competitive for Devious Mr. Matt and other players.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, like anything in life, there are consequences for your actions, and we'll see where it goes. Mm-hmm. I don't know if $150,000 is a severe enough penalty. I mean, if someone gave me that penalty, that would be pretty severe for me. But, how do they get that money from those individuals? Do those individuals just laugh it off and go start this up under some other thing? Some people can't be cured of this.
Mm-hmm.
They're just addicted to tinkering and getting around the system, circumventing the rules. And last bit of Fortnite news here is they are working on Volume 2, I guess, of Fortnite, Stage 2 of development, and things you can be looking forward to down the road, gameplay-wise, team communication, included voice chat. So right now, if I didn't know Matt and Matt didn't know me, and we went into, let's say, duos together just randomly, we cannot currently chat to each other. It all has to be done sort of like, get their attention in game, maybe drop a dance move. I'm not sure how else they do it, but,
Yeah.
They're going to be, ongoing tweaks to shooting, squads, duo polish. One thing that Matt was talking about last night when we were playing is spectating. There's going to be improvements to that. Maybe you can select which one of your team members you want to view. Let's see what other things they come up with, because I think someone needs to invent a better way to spectate. I'm not sure if that's like a 360-degree move that you can just sort of move the camera around any way you want. Maybe that's too much of an advantage to the player who's got a team member down. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it might be something.
The other things for the controller, aim assist improvements, revamping the controller setup, alternate configurations, the UI. They're going to be messing around with the console experience of the 10-foot HUD. And then just overall things I think that we've been missing here is progression. There's going to be more thorough analysis with stats, leaderboards, progression. So,
yeah, nice.
And they're planning around to have this out within 4 to 6 weeks.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that you've been playing, Matt, besides Fortnite?
This is going to sound like a repeat from the 40cast, but baseball, MLB The Show, as always. Still playing that. It's just one of them games. It's just easy to get in, get out, and play a couple games and enjoy myself. So, but that, and then my 2DS. Zelda: A Link Between Worlds is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying that. Back to the old days of Nintendo and Zelda, where you're trying to figure out castle puzzles and all that type of stuff is always a lot of fun. And my wife got me for our anniversary so I could play with the kids on their 3DSs, Super Mario Smash Brothers. Which is a fighting game, which I'm not that much into, but the kids like it. They play it. They give me something to play with them. So I look forward to playing that here in the future and giving a review on that here in shows to come.
So how would that work? You just have to use their 3DS?
Yeah, so I can put it in my 2DS, and then they got their 3DSs, and somehow you link the 3DSs all together. It's not like over where we have to change game friend codes and stuff like that. I think we just link our 3DSs together and we play that way somehow. So it should be interesting how that works out.
And you only need one copy of the game, right?
I think so. I think 2 people at least need a copy, and then someone can like borrow. They like borrow the game for that session, and then when they disconnect the 3DS or whatever, that game is no longer available for them to play.
Yeah, we'll have to hear more about this, how it unfolds.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound Nintendo-ish to me. Oh, yeah, you only need one copy, but 3 of you people can play at the same time.
Well, we did, was it last week? We played some Mario Kart. I didn't have Mario Kart on mine, but both my kids had it. And so I was able to, like, borrow the game and play it a couple rounds with them. And then,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was actually pretty neat. And I had to link like my 2DS with my son's 3DS or something, and it gave me the opportunity to like download the game or whatever, which I didn't really download the whole game. It just like, I don't know, downloaded something to link it up. And then I was able to play Mario Kart 7 against them. Now, I couldn't do any single player stuff.
Right.
It was just multiplayer stuff I could play with them, so.
And you were obviously in the same room with each other.
Yeah, yeah, we was on the same.
So you didn't feel any lag or anything like that.
Nah, no, I didn't.
Nice, sweet.
Yeah,
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good actually. So.
Let's circle back to baseball for a minute here. Let's talk real baseball for a second.
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy what's going on currently. Minus my Red Sox being bounced, obviously. But the Astros are up 2-0 on the Yankees, which is great.
Yep.
That Altuve, man, he can play. He is something else.
He is a player, man. He can go and he clutch everything, man. He can do it.
Yeah. And then last night, very, very happy to see the Dodgers beat the Cubs. I am not a big Cubs fan.
Cubs suck.
I think Joe Madden is insufferable. So I am very, very happy with that. We'll see how it goes, though. I don't think the Cubs or the Yankees are just going to lay down, though. I expect these series to go pretty much to the distance.
I think Astros Dodgers will make a good World Series.
Oh, yeah, but you know what the people want. And when I say the people, media people that care about ratings, they want a Yankees-Dodgers.
Oh, yeah, across the
LA,
East Coast,
New York.
West Coast. Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, they'll get the most ratings that way and everything. I would almost even say Cubs Yankees. Two baseball greats going at it. But I would not like to see that. I would love to see Houston go. Definitely
right.
Houston.
With the Cubs winning last year, that probably has less of appeal. So now the Dodgers haven't won it in a very long time. So I think that is what the ratings people want.
Yeah. Well, hell, when's Houston won? Have they?
Yeah, it's true.
World Series?
I don't know if they've ever won. I'm not sure. But I don't think people, as far as, across the country, care as much about the Astros. But I'm certainly pulling for the Astros. That's my team that I want to see win, especially with everything that's gone on with Houston, with the with the Hurricanes and things like that. So.
Well, and just with the Astros in general, ever since they went to the American League, they used to be in the National League, and ever since they went to the American League, they have not done well at all. Up until last year, where they started doing pretty good, and then this year, where they kind of broken out and have done great.
Right.
So.
All right. Let's segue over here. I got some releases that are coming out this week, and a few of these are humorous, but let's get the serious ones out of the way first, Matt. A Gran Turismo Sport is coming to the PS4, another exclusive. If you're into sim racing, check this one out.
Now, is this a full-on Gran Turismo game, or is this just like a half game? Because usually they do the Gran Turismo 3, Gran Turismo 4, whatever. Is this a full Gran Turismo game, or do you know?
It says here, Gran Turismo Sport features the awe-inspiring visuals the series is known for, alongside a renewed focus on competitive racing. Drive on tracks around the world with everyday rides and exclusive concept cars. Customize your car of choice. It seems like it's the full deal. I mean, but you're very right. It could be something maybe smaller because it doesn't have the number in it.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is not really my genre, so I can't speak to it too much. But it is an exclusive. Launches on the PS4 October 17th. Let's see what else is coming out. South Park, The Fractured Butthole. Will be coming out finally. This game has been delayed numerous times, and I'm not sure if it's still available, but I think if you pre-order it, you can also get the first game. But by the time you hear this, that ship might have already sailed. Another game that's coming to multiple platforms is Rogue Trooper Redux. This is a old school tactical shooter that's coming back. But these other two games I want to talk about first is Elix. This is a game that I've been forced to cover multiple times when I've gone to PAX East. And it is a very, very, how would you say, ambitious title. It's an open world RPG with many different factions of enemies or communities of people, races, creed. And it's a very poor game. It's too ambitious. And when I wrote my article from the last PAX East, I said this game should be delayed or it should be stripped down to a much more realistic approach. But, of course, publishers get involved. Things must meet a deadline, and this thing is being forced out. So I'm very curious to see what condition it is currently in, because when I saw it back in March, it was not ready for even a demo, let alone a full release.
I'm looking at this website now from Polygon about this game, and I don't know if these are artist renderings or actual video game screenshots, but it looks good.
It's got all the bells and whistles you would think, It's got the appropriate paint, as they would say, on it and things like that. But man, it just runs like a hot mess.
Really?
But it's almost one of those things that runs such like a hot mess, I want to buy it. Just 'cause, it'd be one of those things to play on BFF like a solo stream. Just to
you can prove how bad it is.
Right, how bad I am and how bad it is. Go hand in hand.
There, Mike.
Yeah, I'm drawn to games like that. And then this other game, Megaton Rainfall. And if you've ever listened to Gamers in Beta, this has been a humorous title because one time we went to Boston FIG, which is the Festival of Indie Games at MIT. And there was this, I want to say this game was maybe made by a developer in either Spain or Italy. I can't remember. And Corey from Gamers in Beta was doing a demo of it. He was testing it out, and the guy was getting very frustrated with Corey playing it because Corey couldn't really figure out what the game was all about because the game sucks. And the guy was like, had an appointment right after Corey, and I can't remember the exact thing that happened, if he yelled at Corey or if he said to me, "Oh, I'm so glad that guy's gone because he sucked." It was something like that. My memory doesn't fully remember the exchange there, but he definitely threw some shade at Corey for his lack of skills of playing
nice.
Megaton Rainfall.
Now, again, I'm looking at screenshots of this, and this game reminds me of a combination of Independence Day with the big saucer like
Right.
And then also what was a movie with Tom Cruise where the aliens came? Crap, A War of the Worlds or something like that. Where that was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be like this like Superman guy that goes around and like kills all these, aliens. It's a very strange game.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think we saw that about 2 years ago. So curious to see what's been done with that. It's interesting. You go to these little things in your own town, and then they're on the PlayStation blog, and everybody can consume them. Now, the game's not that great, but it is still, fun or interesting to see. It's this little grassroots effort going to this, small indie expo where maybe there's a couple thousand people, and now it's 2 years later, it's coming out to everybody. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. Let's get into some news items before we close out the prologue here. Some of these will be quick hits. Some of them won't. First, myself, you, and Jeremy played a bunch of the Star Wars beta. Mm-hmm. And we had some sort of criticism of, the leveling up system or just the game in general. And EA has come out with, released a statement that they're aware of what people are saying and things like that. And sort of to summarize, they've come out and says things you can earn in the game without loot boxes include weapons, attachments, credits, star cards, emotes, outfits, and victory poses. So it felt like a lot of that was locked down into those loot boxes that you would earn or you could buy. Mm-hmm. So now they're saying that you can earn them in-game. They've gone on to say, as a balance goal, we're working towards having the most powerful items in the game only earnable via in-game achievements. Crates will include a mix of star cards, outfits, emotes, or victory poses. And as you know, you can earn crates by completing challenges and other gameplay milestones or by purchasing them with in-game credits or crystals, premium currency. So we'll stop there. What that means, Matt, is you can keep playing, me and you can keep playing and earning these crates and slowly leveling up, right?
Right.
Or there could be some people out there that says, you know what, I want to be a badass mofo from day one. And I got money, whether I earn it, my mother gives it to me, or I've stolen someone's credit card. However it is, I have money, right?
Right.
And I'm going to buy everything, and I'm going to have it all, and that's just the way it's going to be. There's the haves and the have-nots. And so that still seems to be there, that if you want to go out and purchase these crates, you can. And what you're doing is you're purchasing money. You're using real money to buy fake money to buy crates. Essentially, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And, I'm okay with buying loot crates or whatever to get, emotes or some special uniform or something like that. But to be able to jump ahead of other people for guns and different equipment and stuff like that, that's a whole other thing. That gets in it's almost like a cheating. You want to jump ahead of everybody else, and someone's working hard trying to get the stuff the right way, and then just to be able to go out and buy it. I don't like that.
And I bet you the people making the game don't like that either. Don't you think if you had to sit back and honestly think about who's making these games, gamers are making these games, right? Mm-hmm. You would think, for the most part, right? I'm sure there's some people that don't play games that make games. That seems a little weird, but okay. And they probably don't feel comfortable either. But just like at your own work, when you're dealing with permits and things, the message comes from up on high, right?
Yes.
And
the money makers.
Right, and these people are telling you what has to be done, whether you agree with it or not. And that's because, companies like Activision and EA, they make billions of dollars, not millions, billions of dollars off DLC and loot boxes and things like that. It is a proven commodity for them to make money, and they're not going away.
Yeah, it's almost these game developers can almost be like, people actually make the game, it's almost like, you know what, why am I making this difficult? Why am I doing this when someone can just go out and buy the shit to jump ahead or something like that? What's the point?
Yeah. Well, they have to put both in there, because then there would be straight up anarchy and chaos. And then the game wouldn't have any longevity.
Yeah.
To sell you something else down the road.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Moving on, if you get a duplicate star card in a crate, you will get crafting parts, which you can then use to help upgrade the star card of your choice. And lastly, if you have to earn the right to be able to upgrade star cards and unlock most weapons, you can only upgrade or unlock them if you have reached a high enough rank, which is determined by playing the game. So at least they've heard the criticism. We'll see what happens. It drops just in about a month. November 17th.
It's coming right up.
Yeah. Moving on here, PUBG. You familiar with that game, Matt? We haven't talked about that in a minute.
I forget about that game. What's that game about again?
We need to dive back into that.
Yes, we do.
But PC Gamer, this is a magazine that you can purchase at your local smoke shop, supermarket, magazine rack, whatever you buy your high quality magazines, Barnes and Noble. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure where you go these days, Matt. But they got an exclusive look at the desert map. They flew all the way to South Korea to check this out with Blue Hole. And they say this desert map is the source of inspiration was Mexico. Okay, so I think the first one, the map that we currently play, I want to say is Russia. Yeah,
Russia, forestry type of areas.
Yeah, so this one here is Mexico. So some of the things you're going to encounter in the map is a colorful, rustling arena. So I can picture some fisticuffs. Don't you think there's going to be some Fight Club going on at the wrestling arena?
I think that'd be awesome.
Right. There's also 3 ancient meteor impact craters. Mm-hmm. And inside the craters, there are small towns with abandoned shops and homes built right into the sunken crater floor.
You say there's trenches in here, too, you can crawl around in.
Yep. And this wreckage of a crashed plane that's still burning. But overall, this gentleman who went to check this out, he says it's a sprawling battle arena crowded with desert trees, cacti, and a surprising number of buildings. There are hills, rises, and ditches in the landscape, which should create lots of opportunities for cover from sniper fire, or alternatively, convenient places to stage an ambush.
Okay.
Now, usually when we play PUBG, Matt, you do the driving, or Jeremy?
Yeah, one of us do.
Sometimes
we're excellent drivers.
Sometimes I do the driving because you guys like to do your little swan ballerina, underwater swimming routine in the back of the car.
It's very entertaining.
And the vehicles do feel a little different off-road than they do on-road, but supposedly in this instance, the handling is going to be different. It's going to act and feel much differently depending on whether players are on a smooth, paved surfaces or off-roading on rough terrain.
Okay.
Now, I feel like that's already in the game, but maybe this is going to be a little bit more dramatic, is what they're saying. Still no timetable when it's coming out. Again, the person that tried this out said there was big missing pieces on the map where things just haven't been optimized yet. So I still think we're a while away, probably 2018, I would guess, before there's another map.
It looks good. Looking at the screenshots now, it looks pretty good. People keep calling it a desert and stuff, but it doesn't look like a desert to me. I think what you said there, more like a Mexico type of thing, is what I see more than anything else, yeah, there's a lot of brown, a lot of sand and stuff like that, but there's a lot of trees and foliage also. When I think of desert, I just think of this vast, open, blank area. But this looks pretty good. Nice change for the game, I think.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I think, I watch a lot of PUBG during the day. It's good background noise while I'm working. Mm-hmm. So I think, listening and watching the players, they are starved right now for more content. Mm-hmm. Some of these guys play the game for 8 to 10 hours a day because it makes them money. Not only probably the publisher giving them a kickback, I would assume, but just because it is such a phenomenon that people tune in large numbers and they get donations and things like that along the way. But their overall demeanor and attitude is starting to crumble a little bit because they're just very tired of the monotonous gameplay with this one map. So I think the sooner they can get this out, as long as it's functioning on the same level as the current map, the better, because I think, like I said, the overall attitude of some of these streamers has declined a little bit. Mm-hmm. And speaking of attitude and complaints, this is a perfect segue to go into Destiny 2 endgame complaints. Now, Matt, I know you got to pick yourself off the floor here that people playing Destiny have complaints. I know it's a hard thing. I know it is a hard thing to fathom.
I don't understand it.
Yeah. So some of the complaints from Destiny 2 players are saying the end game isn't deep or involved enough to support its most dedicated fans. It's too easy to hit the level cap. The argument goes that there's not enough high-level content to keep players going. So just a very small blurb here from Bungie. They say right now these discussions are also happening in our studio. We are listening, but need time to digest everything. Yes, you should digest your food before you go out and run, little Bobby. And draw up the best plans for the future. We will have more, so stay tuned.
So, Mike, here's 2 cases in the news today where the game folks have responded to people's complaints. That's a good thing, right?
I think they need to be listening, right? I think Destiny is selling like hotcakes. It is Destiny season. And, so that, the life of the game, people had complaints that, their progress didn't carry over from the first to the second. Mm-hmm. That left a bad taste in some people's mouth. They didn't come over and play the game, but they're still selling a lot. And the PC version is about to drop, I think, on the 23rd or 27th of this month. Uh-huh. So they need to keep listening and make improvements. They just can't sit on their hands.
Was there nothing at all between the first one and the second one that they gave you for like loyalty or anything like that? Okay, we see all that you played Destiny 1. So for buying Destiny 2 and playing Destiny 2, you're going to get this awesome weapon or gun or something like that. There was none of that going on?
I don't think so. I know there was like when you started the game up, it recapped, you finished Iron Banner with such and such. Here are some memories of that. But I don't remember them giving you a reward. I could totally be wrong. Some of these times, like, you get so many things pop up on the screen that you can't press square fast enough to get. But I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it is Destiny season, Matt, this has impacted other games. I know as a PlayStation gamer, you have the 360 and you've played Gears before, but maybe you don't know the name Cliffy B. Tell me if you're familiar with him.
I've heard of Cliffy B.
Okay, so Cliffy B has, made his money by developing Gears of War. He was involved with the first 3 games and then left. And he retired for a little bit, and then he wanted to come back and make this great game called Lawbreakers, which is a PC and PS4 game. And it's not doing so well on the PC. So they had a free weekend just a little while ago, and their concurrent player count, CPC as they call it in the industry, was somewhere around 1,000 people. 1,000 concurrent players playing during the free weekend. Now, when that stopped, it almost dropped immediately below 100 to 84 people.
Ouch.
And at one point, it went as low as 10 people playing the game on PC.
I imagine that makes it hard to play the game if you want to play and find other people to play with.
Right, you need at least 10 people to play a game. It's a 5v5 game. But Cliff is not discouraged, at least publicly. He says it's a marathon, not a sprint. I'd rather be the underhyped game that slowly ramps up into something that people adore than something that comes out with way too much hype that there's backlash for, which is why I think Steam reviews are so positive. He goes on pretty much to say, hey, what's the Blizzard game?
Warcraft?
Was a mod at some point, and he also points out Warframe as a game that started out very small, and now it's become very popular, especially with their latest release. So he seems, at least publicly, he's in this for the long haul.
Okay. He's committed still, at least. He's not going to give up.
Yeah, I guess the game I was thinking of was League of Legends. So,
yeah.
League of Legends started as a mod for Warcraft 3, and now it's a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
Well, those are lofty goals to have, to think your game can blossom into something like League of Legends. But, you got to believe in your own game, I suppose. But certainly a 10 people playing on PC is discouraging. I think PS4 is probably doing a little bit better. But, we'll see what happens. They're going to do more free weekends. There's probably going to be some other stuff that's going to be coming free, maybe redo some marketing things. Maybe people aren't aware of what the game is, and we'll see where it goes from there.
I mean, for me in this game, the only way I've ever heard about this game is because of the issues behind it and stuff like that. So that could be a bad thing there, where if there's other people like me that just hear about this game and they just hear about issue after issue, that they're not going to go get it to check it out.
Right.
People need to start hearing some positive stuff about it to go get it and download it and play it and so forth.
Yeah, and we'll see if it goes free to play or if they drop in price. That could be something else they do. Horizon Zero Dawn and DLC is still on track for November 7th.
God, I got to still finish the regular game.
Yep. And this expansion is called The Frozen Wilds. Takes place in the Cut, which is a boreal wasteland to the north that separates the Banuk homelands from the rest of the world. It's a place where none but the most skilled hunters dare venture. Ooh. Well, shit, maybe we shouldn't buy this then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're out.
Yeah.
And those that do most survive against dangerous new machines and freezing temperatures. So curious to see how they'll do that balance of introducing new machines to tackle, because if it's just DLC with the same old, might not have the same appeal. So I'm looking forward to the new machines. But then how do you combat the freezing temperatures? So I know you haven't played Zelda Breath of the Wild, but in that game you needed to basically craft certain food, hot food that you could take to combat the cold, or you needed to purchase a particular outfit in the game which would be able to wear in these temperatures. Now in Horizon Zero Dawn, we could wear many different outfits. So I wonder if it's going to be something like that, where you need to go to one of those vendors and buy something. Or if you can just wear the power suit still. If you've earned the power suit, can you wear it in the DLC? Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see how the freezing temperatures play into it. Do you start losing health slowly? Is there something you can take, an outfit to wear?
Yeah, potion or something, whatever.
Right. Last bit of news here centers around Xbox. First, we'll talk about Cuphead. It has sold over 1 million copies between PC and Xbox One. They're not telling us the exact breakdown, which version sold more, but to get all together, it has sold over 1 million copies, which I think is significant for a game this size. It's a $20 game, but it's certainly a game that Xbox has been pushing for a while, and it's one of their lone exclusives. I'm putting that in quotation marks because, again, you can purchase this on PC. It's not exclusive to the Xbox One platform. But certainly, kudos to those guys. They sacrificed a lot. It is a pair of brothers and their wives making this game, and they've mortgaged their future, quit their jobs, sold their homes, things like that to make this game for a long time. So hopefully they're reaping their rewards now.
I hope so.
It's a beautiful looking game. It's not a game for me, but at some point I will buy it, like I mentioned on 349 of the 40 cast.
is definitely not a game for me. I tell you that right now. You will not hear me unless there's like a free weekend or something like that, or somehow you can play it. I'll try it just for other people's enjoyment. Okay, how much I would get frustrated at this, but yeah, no, I'm out.
Well, you would need to get an Xbox, or you could buy it on PC.
Yeah, one of the two.
And last bit of news here, Phil Spencer has been traveling the world, going to places that he didn't think Captain Mike M would know about. Oh. So he's been going to Brazil, and he's been throwing some shade at Sony. So first of all, he was asked about exclusive content, and he says, I don't love the idea of practice of us paying so other platforms can't play or use a certain gun in a game or do a certain level.
But he's done it so often for Xbox.
Well, he says, I know as I say that in Xbox history, DLC exclusivity with Call of Duty, I understand the fingers are pointing right back to Xbox. I can only be who I am. It's not the best PR answer, but I don't like that. So, you could take him on face value and say, well, that sounds great, Phil. You're a great guy, which I think for the most part is very accurate. I am curious, though, if the shoes or the roles were reversed and Xbox was on top of PlayStation. Mm-hmm. If they were the ones selling all this stuff, all the consoles and having the for all intents and purposes, I don't want to sound like Donald Trump here, but Xbox is getting beat badly, very, very badly. Mm-hmm. And if the roles were reversed, would they be for the exclusivity? We don't know because that's not the situation we're in. But if they were, would they be the ones going out there? Because the small sample size that we have is the 360 was on top of the PS3, and they had exclusivity with Call of Duty. So,
yeah, I think if the shoe was on the other foot or whatever, how you were saying,
right.
It would be a whole different situation. He would not be saying these words right now. I don't believe.
Yeah, it's because it's almost like, while I believe what he's saying is true, in his heart that's what he feels, but it also feels like he's also, I don't know how to, and this next story is going to get to it as well, but he's also sort of talking to his base and saying, hey, I'm the good guy here. Even though we're not on top, I'm still the good guy here, and the bad guys are beating us because they're doing these, shady deals. Come to Xbox, because that's where the real gamers and the good gamers hang out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It has that tone to it. Mm-hmm. So then he was also asked again about crossplay and Sony, and he says, we talk to Sony all the time. With Minecraft on PlayStation, and we have to be one of the biggest games on their platform in terms of sales and gameplay. Same with Nintendo. The relationship with Nintendo on this front has been strong. They've been great supporters, and we continue to collaborate with them. But I think Sony's view is different. They should talk about what their view is. And that seems pretty strong there, telling another company that they should talk about what their view is. Now, again, I don't think he's wrong in asking Sony, hey, how come you're not coming to the table and talking about crossplay? But I don't really know if I like when other CEOs talk about other companies, but I am not that familiar with how the whole play works between Microsoft and Nintendo, Xbox, Nintendo. Can you send invites to each other, or you just happen to be in your world and you run across other people that are on different systems? So like when they forgot to flip a switch the other day with Fortnite a couple of weeks back, you could basically play against Xbox people, or you can play against PS4 people, vice versa, right? Mm-hmm. But you couldn't send invites to people. It's not like you could say, hey, you're on the Xbox, I'm on PS4. I'm going to send you an invite, Corey, and why don't you join up with me and Matt on the PS4? Mm-hmm. It's just you happen to be in the same world with each other. And I understand that that's a start, but I need to hear more about what the true crossplay is with the whole Minecraft thing. He goes on to say, I have a real struggle making comments about their motivation or timeline. Really? You just said something. I know there is a certain view that says if my friends have this console, they can't play with people who buy another console. That's a reason they go buy my console. That reason is not going to go away. So we're putting Minecraft out there as one of the biggest games on any platform and allowing people to play together regardless of what device they bought. I don't think everybody is taking the same approach to the ecosystem, so I'm never going to call anything a lost cause, but I think some of the fundamental reasons in certain scenarios, they're not really going away, so I don't know what would change.
Interesting.
And I think, Sony, at some point, Sony is going to have to put their big boy pants on and come out and say why they're not into this. I think the excuse they gave before was a bunch of bull, that they don't feel their players are safe on the Xbox or talking to the Xbox. I think that's a bunch of bull crap, and I'm sure that person wish he could take that comment back if he could.
I agree.
But
I agree. I think Sony does need to come out, and they need some legitimate answers as to why they don't want to do crossplay. Because they do it with Rocket League and PC,
right. Right.
So I think they do need to come out and they need to say why, specifically why. Is it because it's Xbox or Microsoft or what? And fine, great. If that's what it is, that's what it is. But at least come out and say something as to why or what's going on.
Possible scenarios could be too much of a technical challenge for us, to really make it work the way we envision it working. Meaning you fire up your Xbox and you go into Fortnite and there's your list of Xbox friends, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can send an invite and vice versa. What do you do about in-game chat? Is it you're going to rely on the game to provide that, or the party system? I don't think you're ever going to come to a conclusion, a scenario where you fire up your Xbox or PS4 and you look in your friends list and there it's going to say who your Xbox friends are and your PS4 friends. Right. I don't think you're ever going to get to that. So then you're relying on the game developer to have a system in place where you can do in-game chat. Mm-hmm. Certainly probably not the hardest thing to do in this stage of game development in 2017.
Right.
So when, let's say that's the scenario, you have that in place, well, who polices that? Is that a real concern at this point? If you're playing a console, you take the situation into your own hands. Should Sony and Xbox even be responsible for that? So, I do think they need to come out and say, hey, we have no interest in it. We're on top. It's not something that appeals to us. Just like they said for EA Access, they didn't really think it brought a value to the PlayStation platform, and that's why they decided not to do it. Or are they going to come out? And I don't think you'll ever hear anybody say, oh, we just can't figure it out, or it's not up to our technical aspirations. We have a broader sense of what should be done, and we don't feel we have, the skill, the manpower to really, bring it into the robust feature that we would like. I don't think it's going away. I think Xbox is going to keep hammering that home.
They're going to keep pushing it. Yeah, they're going to keep pushing it until Sony comes out and says, no, it's not going to happen, or this is why, or whatever. I think, they're going to keep pushing it. And again, if the shoe was on his foot, would they be pushing it so hard for crossplay if the Xbox was doing better than PlayStation 4?
Right. I mean, don't you think? I mean, these are all big companies, so they can do both at the same time. Yeah. But probably Sony's focus right now, if you had to, think about it, is they got a lot of titles in development, first-party exclusive titles. I'm sure that's their focus. Supporting those teams, getting those games ready, so when God of War comes out, Detroit, the next Last of Us, they're trying to get those games ready. Where Xbox has already released their two exclusives, Cuphead and Forza are already out. Right? So what else, is Microsoft doing right now? I'm sure they got some first-party things in development that we're not aware of, but there aren't many.
Right. Yep.
All right, well, that's been the inaugural episode of Bad Fodder Figures, episode 00. This is just a small taste of what's to come. We look forward to having Jeremy and Eric join us as they can. Again, we said at the top, their schedules don't always align, and Jeremy certainly needed a break from podcasting once he retired from Dad's Getting Grounded. So he's taking some alone time to be with the family, but when he can make it, he will be here with us as well, talking about games and occasionally streaming them too.
Yeah. And if I could throw a couple things out here, Mike, as far as housekeeping stuff goes, leave us some feedback or let us know what your thoughts are in that. obviously we want something that people will want to listen to and stuff and so forth and that. So let us know, if we're going down the right path or what have you, and we'll try and make adjustments as we go through and so forth, and make it a very much enjoyable, listenable podcast.
Yes, I would agree. So if you're listening to us on iTunes, please leave us some ratings, some reviews. You can also find us on Podbean. You can search Bad Fodder Figures and check us out there. Show notes, download the MP3 if that's what you prefer rather than streaming it. So all those options are available to you. And this is just the start. Gamers in Beta, I'm sure just like the 40cast, I wasn't around to listen to the early episodes of the 40cast. I think I was on maybe 100 or so episodes of that show. But I'm sure, Matt, when you guys started out, the show evolved over time, and it wasn't the same thing as it was in the end. And that's the same thing for Gamers in Beta. If you went back and listened to those early shows, a very much different product than what we ended with at 212. So I think the same will happen here, no doubt.
I think we can all agree that episode 20 of the 40cast is when things really kind of took off there.
Really picked up, and there was a lot of steam, with some momentum.
It was
violence,
unstoppable.
speed, and momentum.
Yeah, I think
episode
that's when
20
really kicked off there. So.
That's when we had a lot of beer reviews and Uncharted unboxings.
Yeah, there's all types of crazy antics going on there, and hopefully those antics can return for Bad Fodder Figures here, and and check out the streams. We will be announcing the streams and all that stuff, so make sure to definitely check those out and watch us there live or record it on YouTube or Twitch. And get involved with the chat and everything with when we do the streaming and that. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that too, I think. With new games, different games, playing the same old games and that, and just trying to have a good, fun time. Nothing serious when we're trying to play these games. Obviously, we want to win in that, but if we don't, it's okay, no big deal. I know Mike might get a little upset sometimes there when things go wrong, but that's the part. That's where the fun comes out then.
Yes. I think go listen to the Games We Don't Play podcast that just came out, and I sort of explained it. I'm the try-hard of the bunch. I like to win and have some strategy and things like that, and I think Jeremy falls somewhere in the middle there. And I think to some extent you do as well, but I think it's also humorous to see all our skill levels of play sort of mesh or not mesh together.
Yeah.
So it's a good time. Again, that is just starting out small as well. We hope to be more consistent and get the word out. And as we go, the Discord that's already currently out there will be building up and things like that. But in the meantime, Matt, let everybody know where they can follow you, and whether that's on YouTube for the motorcycle stuff or Twitters. Why don't you let everybody know?
Yeah, definitely on the Twitters, Devious Mr. Matt, all one word there on Twitters, and on YouTube, search for Devious Mr. Matt on YouTube, and you'll find my motorcycle videos there where I record occasionally on my way home from work. I try to cram as much information as I can in about 15, 20 minutes worth of video.
Power-packed.
Yeah, it is. It's the power hour. So check that out. But yeah, those are the two main places you can get a hold of me, is Twitter and on YouTube. Both of them are Devious Mr. Matt.
Nice. So Captain Mike M on Twitter and most everywhere else. And certainly follow Bad Fodder Figures on Twitter at Bad Fodder Figure. Twitter will not give us the extra S, so we are a singular entity on Twitter, Bad Fodder Figure. And follow us on Twitch, Bad Fodder Figures as well. We'll be streaming from there. But until then, this has been the 00 episode, and we hope to be back next week, and maybe we'll hear from Jeremy and Eric as well.
Later.